effect.
He's 6 balls. Boom.
Yeah, we'll wait and see, guys. The map is Akelon Waste. Let's get into what might be the final game of the evening. Here we are on Akelon Waste, ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner as the pink Zerg player, currently 1 game up in this best of 3 series. Can he close it out 2-0? Representing Team Evil Geniuses, we have Stephano. And his opponent, who spawns in the top left position as the blue Zerg player, representing Team Property. Incredibly strong Grandmaster player, but what can he do to come back in this series against his famous opponent? We'll find out in just a moment. His name is Hobbe.
No, so far no 6 ball.
It's true.
That is...
In fact, not only so far no 6 ball, I think we can safely say even later on into the game we won't see a 6 ball.
I don't think we will see a 6 ball at all this game.
I know. It's
not today.
It's incredible.
Shock.
I've seen a 6 ball today.
No, you haven't.
I've seen a 6
Evo into a 6 ball.
Oh my god, I could talk to you about watching Metals playing ladder in between the matches, but I won't, ladies and gentlemen, because frankly you've already heard everything you need to.
I played 1 game, okay guys, 1 game. And because I was using JoRoSaR's keyboard, while having a bit of a conversation, I built an evolution chamber instead of a spawning pool, doing a 6 ball, because I only had 5 minutes. Okay, it was really funny. But then, rather than trying to make it work somehow and come back into the game...
Wait, you did try and make it work. You went for a 6 pool anyway.
Yeah, I was like, I went 6 over 6 Evo 6 pool, because I just thought...
Drone pool.
He just deserves it, okay? He
Standard.
just deserves the win.
And we do have the hatcheries going down for both players at exactly the same time here. So we are going to see... I like this. We're going to see a standard macro game. From Stephano's point of view, well, he thinks he can beat his opponent in a macro game. And he's Stephano. He has the confidence. And he's also conveniently really, really good. So that's totally fine. In the meantime, Hobbe is going, well, I don't need to do anything drastic. I play okay. And I think I might be able to take a game off Stephano. So I'm not going to go on tilt. I'm not going to do anything crazy or cheesy. I'm just going to play my normal game and try and locate a position to squeeze an advantage from. So I really like that these players are going macro this game, and I hope that it's a really good one.
It should be, and ooh,
Wah, wah, wah. A little bit of lag here.
Hopefully that'll all clear up. The internet for the day has decided we've had enough.
That's true, actually. We've had really, really good...
Don't say... Don't.
Going back into the game now, we see the gas being taken for Stephano, the pool approximately 3/4 of the way done. And gas only now getting started for Hobbe. So Stephano approximately 30 gas ahead. Not going to make a massive difference in the big swing of things.
No, it won't. It's the thing to look out for as well is whether either player decides to pull drones out of gas, how many they pull out once they reach 100 and get Zergling speed started. Because that's always a really good way to get a nice feel for what a Zerg player's mid-game strategy is going to be. Whether they're going to be aggressive, whether they're going to try and expand quite a lot. And Stephano pulls them all out. So he's just going 100 gas, dead on the dot. And now droning.
Yep, so a nice little speedling expand coming out here from Stephano. What about Hobbe? He has finished 100 gas. He started his speed, and he has all 3 drones still on gas. So are we going to see a fast baning nest from our blue Zerg player? I don't know. We'll find out in a bit. Stephano's overlords in pretty decent positions outside the ramp of the natural. Not so offensive that a queen could easily pick them off, but not far enough away that something could slip by them either. So he's going to be able to get a good vision of what's going on. And indeed, we see Hobbe come down with the baning nest.
Now, this is quite interesting, because game 1, Stephano won with mass banelings.
Yes.
So Hobbe just thinking, banelings, good, they work well.
They're a pretty good unit. It's true, especially in the early game. Stephano coming out with a few lings now. He's going to be moving out across the map. Lings are going to be able to intercept the 2 that have come out from Hobbe, and sees additional lings popping out from Stephano, and at this point he's thinking, ooh, that's a couple more lings than I'm used to seeing. I wonder what's going on here, and that's because Stephano currently is building 18 more Zerglings. It looks like he's pretty serious about trying to end this game quite quickly. Now, there are a lot of speedlings here in this attack from Stephano, and he's actually going straight into the Roach Warren, but the initial attack is going to coincide with banelings morphing in. So Hobbe has the opportunity here to completely kill this attack dead.
He does, but that's only if the banelings get out. 1 finishes, 2 finishes. Good connection there already. Stephano, if he has good control, should be okay, but the queen's there.
Oh, nice.
He should be okay now.
1, 2, 3 baneling. Ha 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 ha. Doesn't say Hobbe as he completely thwarts that attack. He did do a really good job, though, it has to be said. The The first couple of banelings killed off just enough Zerglings from Stephano to really make him think twice, and as a result, Stephano didn't try and dart into the main. The queens were there from Hobbe. Really, really good D from him. He's currently on 44 supply though, so he really needs to work on that just a bit, but he has got the banelings to help him buy time until then.
So, banelings buy you time, but that is all it's doing, is buying time. Stephano, he's getting roaches out behind this.
Yep.
He is really committing to the aggression right now, and if he's able to get the roaches in there, snipe off the banelings, guess what? Stephano is going to be in a good spot. Hobbe, he's got his lair coming down there once more, like we saw in game 1, a nice early lair timing. He wants to get up to potentially that muta section of the game.
The muta section of the game is definitely desirable for him right now because he has seen the roaches and he's thinking, oh dear, Stephano might be going for roach banelings here and he could just be knocking on my front door any moment now. Needs to be very, very careful indeed. And here comes Stephano moving out across the map with a decent number of speedlings and those roaches. No doubt a lot of them will become banelings very shortly. And look at this. Hobbe here going absolute full defensive mode. 4 spine crawlers on the way. One of them, of course, already done, and a 5th one starting now as well. I'm not sure that'll get done in time for the attack. We'll find out. As Stephano looks for a place away from Hobbe's overlords to morph these banelings in. So the first 2 are on the high ground there.
Now, the overlord is on its way through, but this is going to be a tough hold. Stephano has committed near everything to this push. The roaches have got to snipe off the banelings because that is the really important thing. Spine crawlers, though, are also down. It's going to be tough. Are we going to see good baneling connects? Will speedlings go straight? A massive hit there for Hobbe, and not very actually much gets up there. Stephano is still trying to push in the natural, but his force significantly reduced due to that nice baneling connection.
Yeah, that's really good. Only 5 lings actually make their way in, and now Stephano going to try maybe and go straight back up the ramp with these roaches and Zerglings. The queen there from Hobbe is going to spot what's going on though. And, I don't know. This is Stephano desperately trying to engage, but there are so many spine crawlers here. It's going to make it so difficult for him to get a word in edgeways. And the banelings now coming in. It looks like he might want to do a fair amount of damage to these roaches with him. And yes, this attack is definitely going to get cleaned up. The rest of the lings could actually walk in there right now.
This is not good for Stephano. Put simply,
No.
Hobbe's got a
Spire,
spire.
yeah.
Done. Mutalists are going to come out. He's got enough for 5 pretty much straight away. And Stephano doesn't have a lair.
Stephano's going to have to play this super turtle mode, and I'm not sure it's possible here because he's taken his 3rd base. The mutas are going to give Hobbe so much map control that the 3rd base is going to be really difficult to hold for Stephano, and that's the very least of his problems at the moment. I mean, the 3rd, if attacked by Hobbe right now, I can't see how Stephano will hold it. And beyond that, how does Stephano hold everything? He's going to have to build a decent number of spore crawlers here.
A decent number. He's going to have to build a mountain of spore crawlers because his lair is only just now getting started. This is huge. He has got so long he's got to hold off. And even then, if he tries to catch up in the mutalist count, I don't think he'll be able to. So that leaves his options as really going down for Hydras or Infestors, both of which are less than perfect.
Oh, and this is so smart from Hobbe as well. Look at this, gunking that creep on the low ground here so that his spine crawlers can adequately protect both his natural expansion and his 3rd base, wanting to make sure Stephano literally cannot get a word in edgeways as far as the strategy is concerned. And we see the mutas flying around the map right now. He's actually going straight into the main base with them. He's going to be able to kill a decent number of drones. The spore crawler is already in the natural. I want to see overlords getting picked off from Hobbe until he has ridiculous numbers of mutas, because he is so far ahead of Stephano right now as far as that tech goes that I think he can try and pick off all the overlords, and after the overlords are gone, he can then slowly think about moving up, because Stephano isn't going to catch up in a muta count. I'm pretty sure we all know that.
Yeah, it's impossible. That's why he's gone with the Infestors, because it's his only real option is to get a real money fungal growth and then chain fungal this mutaflock to death. If he doesn't, he's not going to be able to keep up, and that's the long and short of it.
It really is. This is such a difficult position to be in. The infestation pit is in the natural, and the mutas could pick it off. The mutas could see the infestation pit and pick it off. Yes, there are 2 queens attacking them right now, but he could conceivably do this if he wanted to, but it looks like he's just content trying to pick off queens right now. The mutas continuing to go into the main base. Hobbe actually going for the roach horn as well to make sure he has some beef on the ground behind this if necessary. And, well, this spore crawler doing quite a lot of damage. 45 damage versus biological. Definitely not the kind of, not really the kind of hit you want to be sustaining on those mutas. That's 3 hits and you're dead. 3 strikes and you're out.
It's painful getting hit by one of those, so yeah, you don't want to be running into it. But yeah, the Queen's actually doing an okay job. Stephano turtling up well. Credit where credit's due. Hobbe, he just can't seem to really find something to transition out of, and the first infestors are now coming down. Those fungal growths could ruin Property's player's game.
Oh, it really. Oh, if he picks off the evolution chamber and the infestation pit, that would be really big. Especially because we have pathogen glands on the way as well. Is he going to pick off this? No, he's not going to pick off the spore crawler. He is going to get another queen though. And that's going to be reasonably annoying. Hobbe currently at 100 supply versus the 89 of Stephano. And I feel like Hobbe's at a really, really nice advantage. But he needs to press home the advantage a little bit more. Imagine if he did this against a third base with a couple of banelings to boot. That would be pretty useful right now. But all he's doing is flying around with these mutas. And notice he's not actually making more. He's trying to transition to Roach Hydra.
And that's an interesting transition, because he knows the infestors are coming down, which admittedly made things a little bit more tough, because any head-on engagement, fungal growth could be so big, and here comes the infestors. Is the fungal growth going to go down? And yes,
oh,
it
good
does.
God, underneath the spore crawler as well. That's huge, and that's exactly the money fungal that Stephano required. And well, it turns out that buff to the spore crawler does approximately a zillion damage. 4 kills on this spore crawler in pretty much as many seconds. That hurt a lot for Hobbe.
That is painful. Those spore crawlers are ridiculously strong now. Someone put a mod up on StarCraft Reddit where spore crawlers could load up with banelings and shoot those. You don't need it with spore crawlers.
And they'd end up doing less damage to mutalisks.
Yeah, it would actually. That's ridiculous.
It's well, if spore crawlers could is that like tanks shooting pandas?
Tanks. They
That's
should
the only
incorporate
thing.
that into the same mod.
That's the only
You
thing.
could
that's
load
even more
pandas
in
into
that.
siege tanks.
Dude, I'd play the heck out of that game. That'd be amazing.
That'd be amazing.
I'd sign up to that in an instant. Stephano getting a little bit supply block there as that Overseer is going to go down. And we do see a very quick hive coming out of Stephano. So he had a very late layer, and now he's going to try and make up for it a little bit by going straight up to hive. So we'll see what he ends up going for this late game here. The fungal growths are down. Do you think we're going to see Ultralisk out on the field, maybe?
Potentially, we could do.
Oh, I'm liking the Swarm Host play as well.
Yeah, just a couple of Swarm Hosts in here is always nice. Just a little bit of extra damage soaking. But I think we haven't really given.
Whoops!
Oh, Infestor.
Walk, walk. Oh dear. That Infestor was not very decisive about his will to live, unfortunately, and as a direct result of that, will get crushed by some falling rocks. Stephano 0, David Kim 1.
Now, I don't think we've actually given Hobbe enough credit this game. He held off that early aggression fantastically. He then harassed Stephano incredibly well, but Stephano...
Mike Morheim, actually, not David Kim. My mistake.
That's
Totally
true.
forgot.
That's true. Everyone just blames David Kim anyway, it's fine.
Oh, that's harsh. David, we don't mean that, honest. Come back to me, David. No, don't switch to the other stream. Look what you've done.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it really.
It's okay. Both sides actually going for Enduring Locust, so we could be seeing some... I'm going to be honest. Swarm Host versus Swarm Host is one of those... It's not quite as hilarious as Broodlord versus Broodlord, but it can get up there.
Nothing as hilarious as Broodlord versus Broodlord. Like, the AI in that encounter just messes up so badly.
Oh wow. Only sending a small amount of army here, trying to pick off this hatchery. I'm not sure that was the correct decision. Is he going to be able to? The roaches getting dangerously low on hit points. 4, 3, 2 roaches, 1 roach left. And 45 hit points.
Oh, but look at the third JoRoSaR! This is nice damage being done here. Picking away the queens. Nice fungal growth rate from Stephano. He's not getting it, but he's getting some drones, which is more than he got at the fourth.
You had 1 gerb. He should send in like 4 lings. Oh, he's going to. 1 muta. A single muta. A single lonely muta, and is going to be able to finish the job off. Well done there by Hobbe. And Stephano is
Clear
back down to
Mutalisks OP.
Yeah, Mutalisks obviously OP there. As Stephano down to 3 bases to Hobbe's 4. So once again, Stephano trying to ring his way back into having an advantage in this game. Hobbe, of course, a huge advantage earlier on. Those mutas really did a lot of damage, but Stephano, just the way he was able to weather the storm, not a lot of Zergs could do that. I was really quite impressed with how he held on there.
Well, we'll wait to see whether he can actually turn this into a win, though. Because yes, he's getting a decent number of Swarm Hosts out, and he's well over the critical mass you need to make them ridiculously strong. But the other key thing he's got are those Infestors. They could help. But Hobbe, he's got a nice Spine Wall. He's got a Hydralisks. He's also got Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, so we need to take a little bit of stock, guys, of where these players are right now. First of all, we have the work count as 71 to 60 in favor of Hobbe. He's got 11 Hydralisks at the moment, only 7 roaches to 25 of Stephano. and both sides have 16 swarm hosts. It's not really looking too skewed one way or the other at the moment. It's going to be very interesting to see who ends up on top. Stephano now trying to go towards the fourth base location, I suppose. In the order it was taken, unable to get through thanks to these rocks at the moment, and oh, he's catching some hydras a little bit off guard in the middle of the map. Has to be very, very careful about that, and he's going to be able to get away. Stephano wants to try and snipe off this space, but 4 spine crawlers are going to say, hey buddy, not so fast.
Yeah, there's the swarm host there too. Locusts are going to be coming in, and even if Stephano does just punch straight through here, which is what he's going to try and do,
he'll get the hatch.
He should just get it now. But the Locust actually doing a surprisingly good job.
Oh, Locust, man, that DPS, so strong, so unbelievably strong, and they completely deny that. So, unlike the harassment earlier, it looks like the hatchery wasn't taken out there, and as a result, Hobbe is now maxed out to the 149 supply of Stephano.
Well, we'll wait to see. But Hobbe, yes, he's in a nice spot. Stephano, economically, what's the drone count like? 60 to 73 in Hobbe's favour. So Stephano's economic not even a great spot. He only is now just getting his Hydra extend down. And now we're going to see Locust on Locust. This is the point in the game where you're just like, what?
Locusts on move command. Hey! Well, that was pretty one-sided, I'm going to be honest. Hobbe lost approximately 0 Locusts there. Maybe his Locusts are even more imbalanced.
However, Stephano also lost 0 resources.
Well, that's true. It's very, very tight here. And it looks like this Roach asking for a little bit of trouble. Stephano moving it across the middle of the map. Hobbe, though, does see that he's there now because of that Roach. How is he going to respond? He's sending some Locusts in towards the fourth, but those aren't going to do much. He's actually coming back home to defend. That's a lot of swarm hosts, dude. The number of
look at the
swarm
push
hosts
into
on
the
map.
third. Look at the push. There's a couple of Locusts coming in. They're
Not
starting.
quite close enough.
Not quite close enough. Nearly.
25 on 28 swarm hosts. It's the battle of the free stuff. What can I say? And this guy thinks he's a Locust, but he's really not.
He's got an identity crisis.
He
Don't
does.
blame him. It's late in the day.
He's in an early growth spurt, guys. Don't worry about it. And all the Locusts blow up, but this guy, of course, will be able to stick around for a little while. We see a lot of Locusts here. Oh, and a swarm host does go down to those Locusts. Not going to matter too much, considering there are approximately a zillion more out on the map. But it looks like this base is going to be a point of contention. But look, 4 bases versus 5.
Really, really nice abducts coming down there from Stephano, grabbing those swarm hosts straight out into the Locust. This is nice control from him. And that's just a couple of kills that Hobbe didn't get.
Ooh, picking off a couple of infestors as well. Very, very useful. And making the infestors use their fungal growth energy on these Locusts is not something he wants to do right now. Coming in with some Roaches and Hydra as well. Needs to be very careful. Stephano trying to get the better arc. He does have one. I think he believes if he can push the Locust back just a little bit, then when the 2 groups of Locusts meet, they'd be on the high ground rather than kind of in the ramp area where Hobbe tends to have a little bit more of an advantage. And if Stephano can push all the way up to this position when the engagement happens, then he can maybe plow through with a couple of extra fungals. But I think there are just too many swarm hosts right now to do that effectively.
And that is really so true, JoRoSaR. They're both just going head-to-head with each other, but Hobbe has slightly more stuff and a better attack arc. However, having said that, Hobbe has also got an additional base to Stephano. That's going to really help his
Does
farming.
this prevent a draw? Locust on Locust. If nothing else changes in the game, would that prevent a draw? I'm guessing it won't because units are attacking each other, but I don't know for sure. And it looks like a Corruptor getting abducted there. Just a couple of units here and there. And simultaneously we have a small attack coming in. A few Roaches over here at the right-hand side base, just continuously trying to be very annoying.
And just little bits of irritating play like this are fine because Stephano's just actually now moving back from the main battlefront at the moment, going to be going around the side. And repositioning like this is actually quite good, especially when the Locust is still there fighting, because Stephano's got nothing at risk there for the time being. Their mining is incredibly similar. Stephano's just heading straight up towards the third.
Oh no, this is interesting. Stephano is taking his 5th a little bit later than Hobbe right now, and he's got his swarmers in a very, very aggressive position. Hobbe needing to scramble back. He really needs better vision at the middle of the map, to be perfectly frank. And Stephano's going to try and take out this base. The hatchery actually isn't on that low. He's got, oh wow, Baneling's being used here, but it's not going to matter. I think these Locusts will easily get.
Now that hatchery going down is actually a bit of a pain for Hobbe because now he is on equal basis with Stephano, but Stephano has that 5th on its way. And once he gets that back, it'll be really strong. But Locust on Locust fights coming down once more in the centre of the map. Hobbe is still ahead in the swarm host count. No, he's not. Actually, it's exactly equal now.
It is.
24 and 24.
The main difference between these two guys, by the way, is that Stephano, I think, is more aggressive with his Swarm Host, it has to be said. And we have Swarm Host plus Broodlord coming in from Hobbe now as well. Are they going to get abducted by the Vipers? He's certainly trying. One of the Corruptors gets abducted here. And no, the Broodlord's actually still doing a decent job in the back, trying to supplement those Locusts. And Hobbe really just wants to slowly push Stephano back here. And we can see Stephano actually coming back with those Swarm Hosts as a small group of Brokers and Hydras coming in against the 8 o'clock base.
And if he actually managed to snipe this off, it would have been great, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to because... Oh, actually, no, he is! Those Hydras, they didn't come into that position. They should have easily been able to save that hatch.
That is huge.
That is really good. How about now down to just 3 bases?
Yeah.
But Stephano, if he is just defensive now, and as long as he doesn't die, well, he's quite a long way ahead.
Sniping off 1 hatch, annoying. Sniping off 2 hatches is actually a problem at this stage of the game. If we take a quick look at the income right now, Stephano is actually ahead for the first time in a while, it has to be said. Hobbe did a great job of taking those bases earlier, but Stephano now doing the better job of denying them. He's really, he's moving backwards and forwards with his Swarm Host. Very ebb and flow is Stephano's style right now, and that seems to be allowing him to catch Hobbe off guard against some of these other bases.
And Stephano is now ahead, I would say. I think that's a fair point to make. He's got a much larger bank, and he's got equal supply, and he's got additional mining bases. He's going for the push in here, abducting some of those Broodlords straight into the Hydralisks, which are doing a really nice job there. A few Blinding Clouds also being used, and yes, Stephano, that was very worthwhile for him. He just quickly grabbed the Broodlords, knocked them out, didn't really take any losses. Yeah,
Hobbe's not out of it yet, though. I mean, it's basically still max out to max out. It's 24 to 22 Swarm Hosts, so we're seeing a lot of weird stuff going on here. Some Hydras eventually getting picked off, so the DPS not going to be that great if they keep dying. And Hobbe, he really wants to move these Swarm Hosts a little bit further forward, because every time they finish engaging, they kind of die around here. A couple more excellent abducts coming down. Stephano really using these Vipers very, very well indeed.
What is the resources loss tab looking like?
The resources loss tab is looking 15,000 versus 19,000. Hobbe has lost more, but I wouldn't say by an amount that's like, OMG, this is game or anything like that.
And that's the real big thing, is Stephano, while he is just chipping away, those Viper abducts are actually really helping him. And if he keeps it up, theoretically, this could end up in a point where it's whoever has the biggest back. And that's Stephano for the time being. He's been more cost effective recently.
That's right.
But not by enough, in my opinion.
Well, 7,000, 3,500 at the moment saved up from Stephano. We've got 5 and 1.5 saved up from Hobbe. He has got those bases back up in mining, so kindly note that his mineral income is higher than Stephano's right now. But, I don't know, I'm not sure that's going to compensate for the larger bank once we have a really, really big engagement. He's still not going for Vipers himself. He's happy to let Stephano to do that, but these Broodlords, they're very expensive units, and they keep getting picked off by those abducts. He needs to really be careful here.
Yeah, the abducts is so ridiculously strong if Stephano is able to get them off, and that is a big if, because he's got to be a little bit careful, because there are Corruptors out there too. But if he does get them, all Hydras coming forward and abducts on a couple of Hydras, Stephano just pretty much wanting to take any unit he can get, as long as he doesn't lose anything himself. And that's not actually a bad way to play this at the moment, as long as he can keep it up.
And the Vipers still looking for an opportunity to try and abduct some of those Infestors, some of those Broodlords, some of those Corruptors, anything that costs money. And these Hydras for Stephano are doing a great job at supplementing the DPS. And oh my god, that's a fungal and a half. Can we get the chain fungal in? Yes, we can. Second fungal goes down. Third fungal from that abducted Infestor goes down. And a lot of the Vipers have gone down here. That was a huge, huge win there for Hobbe, and one that was probably much needed as well. We now see the Swarm Host from Stephano closer than ever before, but can Hobbe start closing in? Is he going to inch his Swarm Host forward? Does he want to become aggressive with these?
Well, he lost a couple of Broodlords with that little trade as well, so Hobbe not in a brilliant spot either, but look at this attack arc. That's the big thing. He's spread out his Swarm Host way more than Stephano has, and therefore he's getting the better attack angles, and allowing him to trade slightly superior. But there goes down some more. Great abducts. These Broodlords have got to be so careful.
They do indeed. One of the Broodlords goes down. The second one is going to go down to the Hydra as well. The third one just about managing to escape. And once again, look, as soon as the Locusts get within range of Stephano's Swarm Hosts, they completely expire. So Hobbe maybe wants to think about moving his army forward if he wants to avoid this stalemate going a little bit later on into the game. These infestors just waiting for the perfect opportunity to fungal those Hydras, and ooh, two of them unfortunately missing right there. Stephano continuing to press back in, 192 to 168 supply. Hobbe now has a 5.5, 1.5 in the bank too. So both players basically can continuously make units for quite some time here.
And this is what they're going to be doing. Neither player wants to risk a big engagement. We saw the largest engagement was when all those Vipers got fungled, but then quite a few Broodlords went down as well in the process. So you've got to get a good engagement here, because if the Swarm hosts go down, you are in a terrible spot. It's as simple as that. So both players have got to be quite careful. Hobbe, I believe, is slightly ahead in the Swarm host count, but it's only by a tiny amount. I think a much bigger contributing factor is just the better attack angles that he's got going for him.
Oh, really nice by Hopper as well, trying to pick apart those Zerglings that Stephano is sending his way. Really, really good to spot those changelings there in the middle of the battle. It can be so easy for things to get very, very heated. And look at this, Stephano finally retreating those Swarm hosts as Hobbe inches closer and closer. The upgrades are looking pretty scary as well. Ground Carapace level 3 and Flyer Carapace level 2 coming in for Stephano, and we have Flyer attacks and Carapace coming in for Hobbe. So these guys are getting all of the upgrades, and Stephano switching up his attack, and look at this, Hobbe not reacting fast enough. This is the reason why he's been losing hatcheries. And oh, what great abducts on those Swarm host medals.
And more are going to be coming down. He's grabbing as many Swarm hosts as he can, trying to pick them off, trying to keep their numbers lower, but here comes a mass flock of Mutalisks on its way forward. Where is the anti-air for Stephano? The answer, he's got a handful of Hydras, and that's pretty much it. The Infestors getting jumped forward too, but Stephano doesn't have any Infestors of his own down on the field.
Oh, the Mutas basically just got annihilated by the Hydras. Hobbe had them very, very far forward as well, and that could be a very fatal mistake. It's currently 155 supply versus 191. Hobbe still has 900 gas, but Stephano has 4,000 right now. So he has a lot more gas banked up than our team property opponent here, and could this be the beginning of the end? It's certainly not quite yet the tipping point, because there are still enough locusts here to really cause Stephano grief, but this has to be quite worrying for Hobbe right now.
Yeah, Stephano, if he can get that hatchery down, it's going to be really problematic for him. But if it stays up, Hobbe isn't out of the game yet. That Muta switch could have been great. Unfortunately, the Hydras did so much damage, but here comes the Locusts on their way forward. All Stephano needs is to get the Locusts engaging each other, and then you can run in with a splinter group of Hydralisks to take out the hatchery.
Another great abduct on one of the Infestors as well. Stephano doing a really excellent job here of continuously whistling away at his opponent's army. It's still Locust versus Locust primarily, but very, very slowly Stephano is taking out units that do cost a lot of money to Hobbe, and that's really where he's struggling. You can see a small group of Zerglings going to be popping up over here, trying to get a word in at this space, but there are a decent number of Spine Crawlers, 7 in total there, so you'll need more than a handful of legs.
And they're not even going in either. They're pulling back. They're coming to try and defend this. Hobbe knows that Stephano, he's going for the kill at the moment. And just look at the bank, JoRoSaR. That is where the big thing is. That Hobbe has only 100, 200 gas. Stephano has just under 4,000.
That's right. It's all about the gas at this point. We can see a little bit gas-starved is Hobbe right now, even though the Swarm host on Swarm host action is going to be going on for quite a while, and Hobbe looking like he's going to be targeting down the hatchery over here in at the southern location. He will be able to get it as well, so very, very well done to him there. So doing something that Stephano did to him a little bit earlier on too. This Swarm host on Swarm host bit over here is basically going to end in a stalemate unless there's an absolutely massive push from someone that starts picking apart decent number of Swarm hosts. Look at those fungal growths. A lot of those infestors getting abducted. He needs to land his fungals when they're getting abducted as well. He might as well try and land as many as he can on the Hydralisk, because they are the huge DPS in this composition right now. Hobbe trying to move back with his Hydras, allowing the Logos to come in, and we have a blinding cloud coming in from Stephano as well. I get the feeling his patience is wearing thin, and that's because this hatchery has also gone down. Stephano needs to move forward. He needs to make something work, because Hobbe all of a sudden is starting to look significantly higher in income, and he's gotten back up to 190 supply as well.
Having said that though, Stephano takes out this hatchery, that income advantage will go completely the other way, especially nice abducts.
Oh, he didn't kill them though.
He killed one. That was it. Just one went down. This is so intensely contended, and whoever wins this siege will probably win the game. The counter push by Hobbe though, so smart. Really genius.
Stephano moving up with a couple of Hydralisks here. He will see that in fact a hatchery is going to be going down at the 1 o'clock position. I expect Hobbe to cancel that because I don't really think he can defend it in time. The action is going down here in the 8 o'clock position. It looks like Stephano will simply have a lot more locusts at the end of the day here, and that's going to prove to be a very, very big problem for Hobbe. Still continuing to send more locusts in. There we go, having them engaging towards the end. Well, this is such a tense situation here.
It is an incredibly tense situation, and as this keeps going in, as these locusts keep coming forward, as the Vipers keep trying to get the abducts off too,
yeah,
that is where things potentially can be really irritating.
Oh,
so
but here we go, a whole bunch of Hydras and a couple of Roaches coming in towards this base here, and this fourth from Hobbe is going to go down straight away, absolutely no questions asked. But at what cost? Look at that fungal growth on the Vikings. Vikings, Hydras, wow, it's a long day.
Hydras, yeah, they're going down pretty hard. If we take a look down at the other side, Stephano's locust wall is just getting thicker and firmer all the time. He's going to try and make his way through. There's the abducts coming down. We see the swarm hosts are going to get abducted straight back, going to get trying to get taken out. And this is just Stephano trying to whittle it down. But look at the supply, JoRoSaR. 179 to 147.
And that's because of these Hydras here. They were taken out in just a bit. Very, very tricky situation. We'll see what these players can do. It's definitely a stalemate down here at the 8 o'clock position. And Stephano's Locust looking like they might be able to push through a little bit. A lot of changelings here among the swarm hosts as well. So we'll see if Hobbe can hold on. We have got his Hydras in the back of the base here, and we see, ooh, the Locust trying to come around the side. A lot of Hydras actually in the line of fire right now, but that's when the Locust expire for Stephano. Hobbe once again pushing forward, but this is when the Locust regenerate for Stephano. Very, very tight game here. And Stephano really needs to work on denying a whole bunch more base. He did manage to get this hatch, but at the expense of a lot of his army. He's got another army of roaches dropping in here. We need to make sure Hobbe has enough to defend.
Now, the thing is, Stephano, look his back. Okay, and I've said this repeatedly, but he does keep getting a bit low on supply, but he's got the money there. His income is so superior to that of Hobbe. And now Stephano pushing in towards the natural base too. This is a really nice shove in here, and Hobbe just doesn't have enough to defend it.
Oh, he's streaming back in with some links. The Hydras are adding a lot of DPS, but they're only useful as DPS as long as the links stay alive. And he can't actually keep them alive long enough here. 3-3 upgrades, both sides of course, means that unfortunately all of those Hydras and links are going down. And okay, these Spine Crawls are definitely going to do a number on these roaches here, but Stephano now taking Hobbe down to 150 supply. Stephano's up at 190, and Hobbe has exhausted his bank. We're talking about how Stephano's bank is larger. Now we talk about how Hobbe's bank is non-existent. It's gone bust. It needs to be bailed out by the taxpayer. And Hobbe's going to be publicly owned for the next 5 years.
And unfortunately, this is Hobbe. He's not got anyone to bail him out there. That's where it's sitting at right now. He's got Stephano knocking on the door, and Stephano is just going to break it straight down.
Yeah, I think he's going to be able to hold in this bottom left location, but Stephano's army pushing in through this position of the map. Admittedly, there aren't any minerals left there, but Stephano has taken these two bases in the top right, and he's been continuously mining from them without Hobbe doing anything about it, and I think that's been the real key here going into the late game. Hobbe had a better income than Stephano for a very long time in this game, but that was during a time where Stephano's bank was simply huge. And the lack in income then didn't matter so much. Now, it's mattering an awful lot because Stephano's bank is continuing to grow, and he is about to hit 10,000 minerals in this game.
And that is where the trust fund really does come in handy. Meanwhile, the swarm hosts getting abducted back. Everything just going in Stephano's favour now. He's slowly whittling down Hobbe's army. The hatchery has fallen. The natural base is being only defended by emergency spine crawlers, to be honest. This is really, really awkward now for Hobbe, and I don't see anything shy of a miracle with his saving him now.
No, he's down to 123 supply. Stephano's 50 supply ahead. And this is one of those situations, really, where so difficult for Hobbe right now. Stephano pushing in. He's actually taken out the hatchery now as well at the 8 o'clock position. This is looking dire for Hobbe. If we take a look at his income at the moment, it is 0 and 0. He's only long distance mining. And Stephano looks like he's broken the back of Hobbe. What an incredible game. GG, well played. A 48-minute game. Wow.